now it is time for the top five segment since we don't have a guest, and it is top five actors and actresses who became great directors. And I mean, it was really hard, to be honest.
It
But I
was.
mean, let's just say we need more people of color in the director's chair, and we need more women in the director's chair
Yes.
because, like, when you go through the Rolodex, there is a lot of great people and people of color and women, but there's just not enough. I
No.
mean, like the numbers, it's just outstandingly white. So we need to fix that, and I think we're starting to get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And to be fair, it was hard because there were women, but they don't have enough under their belt. It's hard to determine
Yeah.
that they're my favorite all time or that they're a great director when they've only got one or two films. So I'm right there with you. We need to have more women, and we have to give the women that we have more opportunity.
Yeah.
Spitting out one film every 4 years is not cool when we're handing the white guys like 30 films a year. I mean, let's get going, people. Let's do it.
Exactly. Well, number five for me goes to Regina King.
Yes.
She's only done like a tiny little bit of films, mostly television work to try to work up her skills. But I mean, the most notable one, The One Night in Miami.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
come on, that was absolutely brilliant. You're talking about all of these amazing actors who are playing these iconic people in real life. Like, and I mean, to be able to pull it off on a streaming service too, because, not a lot of people really was taking streaming services seriously as far as, critical acclaim and just trying to compete for awards until I feel like, what the fuck was it called? The one from Apple that won Best Picture. But I mean, in One Night in Miami, you have Ben Kingsley,
Yeah.
or Kingsley Ben Adar, who played Malcolm X, Aldous Hodge, who played Jim Brown, Ellie Gore, who played Muhammad Ali, then Cassius Clay, and then, of course, Leslie Odom Jr., who played Sam Cooke. Those four's dynamic in that whole film was absolutely phenomenal.
Brilliant.
And to only be a fly on the wall for literally that one night in Miami. Regina King did an amazing job directing all of these men, and I think they took her leadership very well. So that's why she's on my list. Number five for me, Regina King.
Yeah, no, listen, if you guys have not seen that film, jump on that and watch that film. It is a brilliant telling of that night and of those men. And those are some high caliber actors that she was directing in her debut. I mean, that was
Yeah.
some serious stuff. That shows you how good she is. Yeah, she's outstanding. And wow, I remember her just on 227 as a little tiny girl shouting out the window. I mean, and now look at her. She's killing it. My number five, again, we're going to give a shout out to a female director who I think just came right out of the gate with her first film. Critically acclaimed. Everybody loved it. We're like, wow, look at her. I'm talking about Olivia Wilde. And if you guys remember her debut film, Booksmart, it was very controversial, but people loved it. Critics loved it. Audiences loved it. And she came out strong and was like, boom, I'm a director, check me out. And then, of course, she followed it up with the big controversial film with all kinds of info. Don't Worry, Darling. So she's killing it. Again, she's a woman that doesn't take any shit. She's like, I'm going to control my set. This is what I want. If you don't like what I want, get out. Because that's what was causing the controversy on the second one, is there was some back and forth about creative decisions, and apparently she did like some stuff, she didn't like some stuff. There were rumors of dating, and she shut that shit down. And I think it's difficult for a woman when they're being critiqued about what, and when, of course, when they take control of a set, when they do have authority, they get labeled. She's a bitch. She's hardcore. She's this, that. No, she's just a director. She's doing her job, kind of a thing. And I think, though, if you go back and you watch both Booksmart and Don't Worry, Darling, they are brilliant films. She is a really skilled filmmaker. The way she drives a story, the way the pacing goes, the way she focuses on character development, she's a really strong storyteller and a really strong director. That's why she's got a plethora of films coming. There's a bunch of them in development, a bunch of them in pre-production that she is attached to direct, because I think the industry is starting to see that she is a solid storyteller that can tell winning stories. So that's my number 5, Olivia Wilde. Great actress, a lot of fun. She was on the OC back in the day. Who knew that? I didn't until I watched it. But I love it. I love to see strong storytellers. And both your number 5 and my number 5, I feel like, are great storytellers and, in turn, great filmmakers. So well done, ladies. Well done.
Completely agree. Completely agree. Number 4 for me goes to John Krasinski, who has just been starting to get his directing chops, I would say. I mean, of course, when you think about John Krasinski, you think about The Quiet Place, right? And Quiet Place Part 2. And then now they're making this into a whole freaking franchise. But what I'm really excited to see is If, a film that is going to be coming out here soon, and directed and written by John Krasinski. And this is a very family-oriented film.
For
So
sure.
this is completely different than what he's ever done before. And I mean, of course, he's got the backing of like Ryan Reynolds, so that helps a lot. Steve Carell is also in this thing, Matt Damon, Emily Blunt. But you know what he's able to do so far in the horror realm has been absolutely brilliant, especially, you know, with being like a newer director. But I think the sky is the limit. People are already taking him really seriously when it comes to directing, and I'm really excited to see what he does with this family film. So yeah, number 4 for me, John Krasinski.
Brilliant choice. Brilliant choice. I think he's going to have a long career as a director. And unfortunately, I think we're going to start seeing him less and less in front of the camera, because I think he likes directing and he's good at it. And I think that's where we're going to start. Writing and directing is where I think he's headed. Our loss in front of the screen, but win-win all the way around behind the camera, man. That's going to be awesome. My number 4, where are we? My number 4 is the one and only other half of Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. Listen, I'm just going to call it right now. I'm going to say it. I say this all the time, but out of the duo, they're both fantastic writers, obviously, right? Won an Oscar for writing, kind of thing. But out of the two, I've always thought Damon is the superior actor. But now it is clear Affleck is the superior director. He is a phenomenal director. If you look at The Town, if you look at Air, if you look at Argo, all drastically different films and yet all brilliant. This guy has a really solid idea, and I think it's because he has spent so much time in front of the camera, and he's also a writer. So he understands it all. He understands the pacing and what's necessary in character development with writing. He understands blocking and lighting and shots because he's been in front of the camera. He's an actor. He knows how to be there. And if you hear the people that work with him, they say how actor-friendly he is. He's very strict. He controls his set. He wants a specific thing, but he's very giving to the actors because he's been there. All of those things, I think, in my opinion, make this guy a really, really great director. And I think, honestly, he's just getting started. I really do think we're going to see him continue to expand in genres and different areas. Maybe even jump into maybe a television series if we get him on a streamer or something. I know I've heard in the past that streamers are trying to lure him. So, yeah, Ben Affleck. Man, who would have not thought the goofy actor kind of kid next to Damon would be such a brilliant director? But there you go. I love Ben Affleck, and I hope he keeps doing it. And I'm super excited because he's going to be directing his ex-wife, Jennifer Garner, who we just talked about. That's going to be fucking awesome. Starring opposite his best friend, Matt Damon. So it's going to be amazing. That's going to be so cool. So my number 4, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I completely agree because, I mean, he's my number 3, Ben Affleck.
There you go.
Like, yeah, what he's able to do is honestly so much better behind the camera than in front of the camera. Not that he's a bad actor. I just don't particularly like the roles he chooses, I guess. But what he's able to do behind the camera is absolutely brilliant. Air is one of my all-time favorite films.
Mine too.
And like, it's amazing. Like I said, it's amazing what he's able to do. And yeah, like everything you just said, I completely agree.
I'm glad he's directing Damon because they know each other so well and have spent their whole lives together. They pull the best out of each other. So that's why Air was so good. And I can't wait to see what he does in this new movie with Jennifer and Matt. Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3, I'm saying it. I'm putting it out right now. Pay attention to what I'm saying. This man will be this generation's Clint Eastwood. This man will be 90-something, still directing films, and still killing it, kicking ass. I'm talking about the one and only Bradley Cooper. This guy is firing out of the fucking gate as if he's been doing it for 30 fucking years. I mean, this guy just came, and I guess it's because he did guide under tutelage of Clint himself with In the Mule, and he's worked with all these amazing directors, and you could just tell he was like a sponge, just taking that shit in. Because when he said, I'm going to direct, holy shit. Like, he just came out and he just fired it. And not only did he come out and say, I'm going to make my directorial debut, which is hard enough in itself, but he said, and I'm going to star in it. And I'm going to fucking produce it. And I'm going to kind of help toy with the script and write it a little bit. Like, what? It's hard enough to make the transition into directing. It's hard enough just to be a director, let alone transition into directing. But when you direct yourself, which many directors won't do, they're fucking like, no, it's too, I can't do it. Fuck. Bradley Cooper, look at his films, y'all, that he's been, I mean, just, it seems like since he announced that he was going to direct and started directing, he's getting nominated for Oscars every fucking year. This guy is killing it. And he started off, the first time I saw him, I don't know if you guys, speaking to Jennifer Garner, he was a guest star. It was a minimal role at best on Alias, y'all. Alias. He was in a couple episodes and then he went away and then he popped back towards the end of the first season. I'm like, just goofy little sidekick actor. Now he's like Oscar like caliber actor, Oscar caliber writer, killing it as a director, Oscar caliber director. I'm like, this man. So if you're worried about it's too small a role, I don't want to be a guest star, I don't want to be a... Get on a fucking set and take the Bradley Cooper route. I mean, just, this guy's brilliant. I don't know what you think about him, but I fucking love Bradley Cooper, bro. I really do think he's this generation's Clint Eastwood. I do.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like right now he's going through his Leoism at the Academy Awards.
Yes.
Because he's going to be making and doing all of these amazing films, but then not getting the award and the recognition that he deserves.
Facts.
I feel like, because it took him 6 or 4 around there years to do Maestro.
Yeah.
So I feel like, does he try to just win Best Actor first and then try to get Best Director? Or like, what, man? But it's really hard to do, and you dedicate so much time to it, because if it's a numbers game, you only have so many left.
Oh, without doubt.
That you're going to be doubling. So, but yeah, I mean, he's amazing, and I'm super excited to see what his next work is going to be. I'm sure it's going to be years from now, but yeah, I'm excited to see what he produces. That's for sure.
Oh,
that's for sure. Number 2 for me goes to Jordan Peele. I just, I feel like this guy right now is filmmaking. He is storytelling, because he's coming with original ideas that the industry is like not coming up with. Like, I just feel like everybody is going with the mold. Everybody's doing remakes or reboots, and he's creating something completely different. The movies that make you think, films that start conversations, and that's what storytelling is all about. So that's why I love what he is able to do. And nobody thought this was going to happen from Key and Peele. Like, if you go back and watch that freaking sketch comedy show, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
But then, then he makes Get Out, and everybody's like, oh, shit, we got to take this guy seriously. I mean... So I just love everything he's doing right now. And, I mean, he's the true definition of a filmmaker. So number 2 for me, Jordan Peele.
There you go. There you go. My number 2, and we were joking about this earlier today, is like, I feel like he's another Ben Affleck. He's not a bad actor, but he's not somebody you're putting at the top of your list of acting, right? Like, he's had some goofy roles. He's done some funny stuff. Most notably, Friends, his little run on Friends. And then, of course, he works with Vince Vaughn a lot. But I'm talking about the one and only Jon Favreau. And Sometimes I forget that he acted because it wasn't a whole lot, and he didn't. So, but he did. He was an actor first, and he still puts himself in little cameo roles in some of the stuff. But he's a fucking brilliant director, and he has gone everywhere, all ranges. He does television, he does film, he does short films, he does commercials, he's done videos. He's done the whole thing, y'all, and he's bringing it in every aspect. How good is this guy? They create technology specifically for him that they now use in other things. Like all the stuff that he did with The Mandalorian, building that round digital thing that creates backgrounds and all that. Specifically made for him. The green screen technology that they used in the new Lion King, now used everywhere. It's like, this guy is that good. He's like, I need this. I'm visualizing that, so you need to fucking create this shit so I can do it, kind of a thing. And he's behind all, making that stuff happen. It likens me back to when Walt Disney wanted to shoot animation with Snow White in a completely different way, and they built that animation cam, or that multi-stack cam, that provided 3D depth to 2D animation kind of thing. He's that guy. He's like a Walt Disney, where he's like, I have this vision, and now we have to build something to make my vision work, and he's just killing it. And if you need proof as to how good a director he is, think about Jumanji. Think about there is no MCU without Jon Favreau. There's no MCU without Jon Favreau. I know I said Jumanji, but go, because I know our producer's going to jump me for that. He directed a film that's in the Jumanji universe. Check it. You'll find it. Don't worry. It doesn't have Robin Williams, but it's a good film. It's goofy. But listen, I just think anybody that is can command the respect of the actors, knows how to tell a story, moves the pacing along, and is brilliant enough to create things that have never been done before, and then have the power to make it happen. You got to put that guy on the list. And that guy for me is Jon Favreau, making shit happen. That's my man, Jon Favreau, making shit happen.
Well, that's for sure, man. That's for sure. And I mean, yeah, because you almost didn't have him on the list.
I know. Like, and he cooks. You're right. I'm glad you called me out. I'm like, you're right. He does act. Fuck. Put my man on the list. That's right.
Yeah, like I liken him a lot to George Lucas, and I hope one day he just takes over Lucasfilm.
Yes,
because nobody really realizes that George Lucas created a whole bunch of different cameras and technology.
Yes,
to bring the films into a new age.
That's right.
So I really feel like Favreau's kind of following in Lucas's footsteps, so that's really cool to see.
Yes, sir.
Number one for me goes to old Ronnie boy, Ronnie Howard.
Yes.
Ron Howard, that man. His acting days are well behind him, that's for sure. I mean, some of us weren't even alive when he was an actor. So I just, you gotta think about it.
I wasn't alive for some of his acting. When he started acting, I wasn't even a thought yet. He was like all the way back fair. When you're talking Ronnie Howard and the Andy Griffith Show, I wasn't even fucking born yet. Like, he's been around a while.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, this man, and even passing along the knowledge to his kids, Bryce Howard.
Yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard, there we go, is also becoming a great director herself.
Hell yeah.
So I would say even better than her acting. But anyway,
definitely.
I'm really freaking enjoying everything that Ron Howard puts out there, because really, there's so many that are credible. Like, the Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, Cinderella Man, A Beautiful Mind, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. But there's one in particular. There's one film in particular that's like, okay, he's freaking amazing. And that is Apollo 13 with Tom Hanks and basically everyone else. Bill Paxton, Kevin Bacon, Gary Sinise, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
Ed Harris. But this guy, he does such amazing things, and you don't even realize it. And that's how brilliant it is. I feel like right now he's focusing more on like documentary stuff. But Scorsese does the same thing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, he's up there, man. He's up there as one of the best of all time, I feel like. But not a lot of people talk about him. But I feel like a lot of people are always excited when he gets attached to things, because he's such a good director, and I feel like he's such an actor's director as well. So yeah, number one for me, the old Ron Howard.
It's a brilliant choice. And yeah, this guy started off with a film about a fucking mermaid that didn't talk. She squealed on screen and everybody thought he was fucking nuts. I'm talking about Splash, of course, but that guy turned that movie into a massive hit and launched everything. Tom Hanks, Daryl Hannah. If you haven't seen Splash, watch Splash. You'll see what I'm talking about. But when a guy can direct a woman that squeals like a fucking doesn't even talk, basically, she of course learns. But anyway, fucking brilliant. He's brilliant. Yeah, I'm right there with you. My number one, also brilliant. He's a man. He's a myth. He's a legend. And he's terrifying. And he's still fucking doing it. 90-something years old. He is still working. Still getting it done. I'm talking about, of course, Clint Eastwood. I mean, I don't even have words to describe this guy. Started off doing spaghetti westerns, y'all. Like, even before that, just little TV appearances. No, first of all, there was a long stretch where nobody in this country took spaghetti westerns seriously. They thought they were just campy, goofy, kind of, This guy made spaghetti westerns real in America. They were huge overseas. But this guy brought them here and he's like, this is going to work. I'm going to be a fucking star doing these things. And it did. And then, of course, obviously launches to Any Which Way You Can and fucking Dirty Harry. And come on, Dirty Harry is one of the most legendary characters of all time. And he takes that and then he says, now I want to direct. And not only am I going to direct, but when I direct my first film, I'm going to compose the fucking music for it. I'm going to act in it. I'm going to partially write it. I'm going to fucking direct it. And I'm going to write the fucking music for it. What? This guy, man, just, I mean, think about it. Cowboy Clint is fucking doing all that shit. It's just, but if you, in all seriousness though, and I don't want to keep talking about, but in all seriousness, if you go and you look at this man's filmography and the range that he has as a director, the films that he does fucking westerns, he does drama, he does comedy, he does love stories, he does anything that you can think of. This man has put his mark on and has made it successful. And when you can do that and do it for as long as Clint Eastwood has been doing it, fuck, Clint Eastwood started directing movies when the Warner Brothers were still fucking alive, y'all. Like, I mean, come on. This guy is fucking legendary. So that's my number one. Clint fucking Eastwood. And may the gods put it on us that we are still directing movies when we are in our 90s. If you're still in your 90s and I'm still directing movies, I've set records and scientists will need to know why, because I'll be way the fuck up there. But I hope I can get there, and I hope at some point when I go, you can get there and still be directing shit in our 90s, because what a fucking life that guy's lived. What a fucking life.
It's pretty crazy. It really is. But anyway, guys, that is our top 5 segment. Please, we want to know, what is your favorite actor or actress who became a great director? Please be sure to comment below in the comment section, YouTube comment section, add us on X, Threads, all the good places. We love the fan interaction. That's what it's all about.
We do.